Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Now today I'm going to be making miniature lanterns. Now these are not miniature lanterns. These are just a selection that I've pulled mostly from around the craft room to show you that lanterns come in all shapes and sizes. Now these are all fairly small, so they fit on my craft table, but they're all different. And this is just to show you that what I'm making is just an idea. You can take this idea, you can take a real lantern, and you can make anything you like. The lanterns that I've just shown you are all made from metal. They're made from metal and either glass or a perspex type material. I'm not going to be working with either of those. It's possible to make metal lanterns at home, but I don't want to be that complicated. I'm going to stick to my favourite materials. So I've got some food packaging. I've got some plastic that I've pulled out of the recycling. Actually, this is some that I've used some of before, but you know, there's still quite a bit there, so I kept it. I've got some cardstock of the sort that will go through my printer. I've got some toothpicks, always handy, and I've got some cellophane. This is off some Christmas chocolates that I saved. And I've got a selection of colours here. I've got others besides, but this is my starting point. Now, at its simplest form, the lantern is a box. And so, if you want to, you can make a simple lantern by drawing out a pattern. I'm not sure what the actual word is. I cannot remember, although I know that there is one, as you would for a box, which I've done here, which has got 4 sides, a top and a bottom. You would cut this out of cardboard, food packaging type cardboard, and then make it up. Not a problem. You'd have a very simple lantern. Of course, I don't want to be simple, but I am going to use a bit of a template which I've drawn out here, which is for a lantern with 6 sides. Now you're thinking, okay, an hexagonal lantern, how is she going to do that? That's going to make life really difficult with doing the top and the bottom. Well, it isn't, because I'm basing it on this here. Now this is a 6-sided lantern, and the top and the bottom are circles, and that is what I'm going to do. I've taken my little plan and I have stuck it onto the printed side of some of my food packaging. Now, this would be a problem if this one was going to have clear glass, but I'm going to use cellophane in this, so it doesn't matter that there's going to be squared paper showing on the inside. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this out and cut out the 6 panels that will make up the glass of my lantern. I have cut out my piece that I templated, and then what I've also done is I have scored on both sides, but you can't see it very well on that side because it's pencil lines, where I'm going to fold. Now I'm going to fold this roughly so that I can get an idea that it actually works the way I want it to, but I'm not going to glue anything right now. I'm going to then give it all a coat of paint and prepare it ready to stick the cellophane in. Now I have painted the main body of the lantern. I gave it a coat of black first, which you can see on the inside, which I did decide to paint in the end, and then I put some silver over the top on the outside. Now I've also made a top and a bottom. Well, actually it's a bottom and a top, and I used a punch which is approximately 16mm across. I believe that one's 16mm, and I cut 2 of those out from my food packaging and glued them together. And again, they've been painted black and then they've had silver around the edges, and on what will actually become the bottom. I haven't done the top yet because we're going to add to that, and I want to do the finished paint coat on everything at the same time. So the next thing is to stick in some cellophane. Now I've already cut this little piece of coloured cellophane to approximately the size that I want. So I'm going to apply some glue, and then I'm going to stick that on, ready to put it all together. With the cellophane in place, as you can see there, the next step is to actually attach this together, and I've left my little tab there for this purpose. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some glue onto this tab, and then I'm going to stick that piece over that piece. Now to hold it in place, I'm going to actually use these tweezers. These tweezers are great because they only open when you press them. There's a proper name for them, but as usual I don't know what that is. I just know that they are a real thing, and so I can use that to hold that in place, and as you can see we've got our nice hexagon shape, and then I'm just going to let that dry. That the top is on my lantern, as you can see. I've turned my attention to something to make it look a little more lantern like, and what I did was I started with some more of the recycled food packaging and a smaller hole punch. Now this one, if I just have a quick look, is about 9mm, and it's smaller than that one, so to stack up. I'd have liked one a little bit bigger, but I can't find one at the moment. I probably have one around here somewhere, but never mind. Now on top of that I've put one of these. Now these are metal eyelets that are often used in either sewing or in papercraft, and I've got them because once upon a time they were very popular with papercraft. So I've added one of those to look like a bit of a chimney, and then I've added a jump ring, little jewellery finding, to the top to give it the effect of something to hold it by. And the glue is still drying on that because there is rather a lot of glue in there, but as you can see, I hold it very carefully with my tweezers. You get a nice little bit of height to go on top of the lantern. I have attached the topper to my lantern and given it a undercoat of black paint. I'm just going to put a little bit of silver over the top so that it matches the rest of the lantern, and then I think I'm going to call it done. And here we have my little hexagonal lantern. Now I'm already thinking that I'm going to make another one by reducing it down to having just 5 sides and making it a bit taller, but I quite like that, and I think it's going to look quite effective on a shelf in one of my miniature rooms. For my second lantern I'm going to be using some of this plastic food packaging. You could use acetate if you'd got it of a suitable thickness, but I got this lying around from a previous project, so decided I was going to use it. Now what I've done is I have cut a piece which has got 4 panels. Now each of those panels are approximately 14mm by 10mm, and I've scored them so that I can fold it. Now I've also put a little tiny overlap on the end, which you don't really need to do, but it will make gluing a little bit easier. Now you've got to be absolutely spot on with your gluing, unless, like me, you don't care if the lantern looks a bit old and worn, because that's the case. It doesn't matter if the glue makes the plastic go a bit cloudy, which it can do. You will also need to check that your plastic will stick with your glue, so I recommend you doing that on a little scrap piece. I've also cut some more of the circles, which I think is about 16mm, which is the larger of the 2 punches I was using earlier anyway, and I've used 2, lots of 2. Yeah, that's 4, isn't it? My brain's not working today, I'm sorry. And I've stuck those together ready to make the base and the top of my lantern. I have also cut some pieces of toothpick. Now this has been cut to, again, about 14mm, and that is going to make the framework at the corners of our lantern. Now I'm going to start off by painting everything but the plastic. I'm going to paint it in black to start off with, and then I'm going to give it a top coat, probably of metallic copper, because I'm still in love with the metallic copper. Now I've got all my bits here to make my lantern. My bottom, I have attached a little circle. This is quite a small one, somewhere around about the 5mm mark, might even be only 4, to make a candle holder, and I've put a little candle on. Now this is just a candle made in the same way that I make all my candles, and there is a video available that I did of these being made, and that's been glued on, ready to be stuck together. I have stuck my plastic. Looks a bit messy at the back, but I'm not bothered by that, because messy is part of my kind of look. I've got my 4 pieces all painted up, and I've got my top piece, which I've done a little bit here again, using the smaller hole punch that I used earlier and the little one that I've used for that to stack up, and then a little jump ring on the top of that to give it a little handle to be picked up by. Now I'm going to now stick that onto there after I've trimmed the candle. I know I've got to trim that wick, but I'm going to put a little bit of glue to hold that in place, and then I'm going to put these in place, and then I'll show you what I've been up to. Here we have my second little lantern. Now as you can see, the candle is quite visible in there. I'm still waiting for the glue to go off completely, because this glue does take quite a while to actually set, but everything is actually glued in place. I glued around the bottom of the glass and stuck that onto the base, and then I glued the 4 pillars in, and then I put glue on the top of the pillars and around the top of the glass and put the top on, and there we have another design of little lamp. This was just an idea that occurred to me, and I do like the fact that this one is quite nicely see-through, although it probably won't be so see-through by the time I've aged it to go into a final scene. But yeah, there we have it. And here we have my 2 finished lanterns. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like, comment and subscribe, and until next time, bye.